Hi, hello, good morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I think we'll just wait a couple more minutes before we start. All right, we're still waiting for perhaps one or two more of our speakers, and then we should be ready to kick off the event. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for tuning in to all our colleagues from the the Committee for the International Association or International Directors of Malaysia. I can see Datuk Professor Emeritus, the Vice-Chancellor of UiTM is already in. All right, I think we're just waiting for Karla from the United States of America. As you know that Karla is about the same time, but it's in the evening at almost 9 p.m. In Ohio, yeah.
Assalamualaikum to Zainab and everyone.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you, Prof? Thank you for tuning in.
Alhamdulillah.
Also to the JKPA members, once again, thank you for tuning in. The Jawatan Kuasa Pengarah Antarabangsa or the International Directors Committee in Malaysia, both for the private. At this point, we already have our panelists from Malaysia and from China. So we're just waiting for two more. I was told that Pak Bukhori from Indonesia and Karla from Ohio. This morning is going to be very interesting because just about a couple of days, we were told by Charlie that he wasn't able to use Google Meet from China, and little did we know that. But of course, somehow technology is definitely wonderful, because we're going to try and merge the Zoom and Meet at the same time. So we should be able to do that. All right. We've tested that yesterday when we had our rehearsal. So I think it should be all right. I think we should be able to see Charlie all the way from Shanghai Normal University. For those who have just recently joined us, we'll just waiting for one or two more speakers just to get them connected, and then we should be able to start our forum this morning. Thank you for your patience. I'm currently receiving messages from colleagues who want to join our program. I hope the program is not, limited to only this number right now. We're trying to get them to come on board. I was just informed that probably the max is about 250. I guess we have hit 250, and I apologize to those colleagues who are trying very hard to get in this morning to our program. But keep trying though. Yeah. And of course, we have given the link for live streaming. So those who are not able to join us on this platform, you could also join us on the live streaming. That's kind of okay. I was told that Karla is in. Probably Karla, you may want to alert us that you are here. Okay, great. Hi, Karla. We were told that all the speakers are zoom into them. To our speakers are already in using our platform. Otherwise, they're probably zooming in, I think, from another platform, because it's already full through the. Is that Karla or Pak Bukhori or Charlie over our speakers who are actually on the Zoom platform to connect them to Google Meet, and should be all right, because we have tested that. It's just a matter of a few more minutes. Let them merge. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning to everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our program this morning. And of course, I want to say a big good evening to Karla, who's actually at 9:28 p.m. in Ohio in the United States of America. All right, so welcome everyone to the Office of International Affairs, University Teknologi Mara's forum this morning. To all our distinguished panelists, thank you for agreeing to participate in today's forum. I'm Dr. Hajah Zainab, the moderator for today's forum, entitled Creating the New Normal, the Future of Internationalization Post-COVID-19, which is a very timely topic indeed. Our dear participants and our dear panelists, our forum this morning will take us in two sessions. Session one will be looking at the issues and challenges of internationalization given the current state of the global pandemic called the COVID-19. All of our panelists in this first session will share their views and perspectives pertaining to the impact of COVID-19 from their part of the world, hence bringing all perspectives of international education from 4 countries around the globe. In session 2 today, we will allow the panelists to take us to the future state of post-COVID-19 from new strategic initiatives, new global classrooms, and new forms of student and staff mobility. My dear participants and panelists, let us then begin our forum this morning. On behalf of our organizing committee, we do apologize. Again, it's technology at its best, and we will be very patient with technology. And this is what we have to endure as we move into the new normal and leverage on technology. Allow me to introduce our first panelist this morning. That is Yang Berbahagia Emeritus Professor Datuk Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Azraai Kassim, the beloved Vice-Chancellor of Universiti Teknologi Mara. Welcome, Datuk, this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Zainab.
All right. Datuk Azraai will share with us his views on the call of leadership in light of the global pandemic of COVID-19. All right. You'll be providing us with insights from the management position. Again, as very quickly his background. As you know, all the biodata are available given time. Very quickly, an engineer by profession, Emeritus Professor Datuk Azraai has a very illustrious background in higher education in Malaysia and also abroad. So with that, dear participants, let us put our hands together virtually in welcoming Emeritus Professor Datuk Azraai to share his views on the current state of COVID-19 and its impact to leadership of a university at large. So over to you, Datuk Azraai.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zainab, for the kind introduction. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. Observing Ramadan Kareem. Good morning, Dr. Charlie, Dr. Bukhori, and good evening to Karla from the US. As the first panelist, I've been tasked to elaborate on the call of leadership during this COVID-19 global pandemic. COVID-19 came and caught all of us off guard. The crisis never seen before. We were in the middle of our academic session and everything changed overnight, triggering the management of the university to treat the coronavirus as a crisis. As the Vice-Chancellor of a mega university in Malaysia, we have a total of 180,000 students. Several questions came to mind. How do we respond to the global health emergency? How do we mitigate the impacts of the virus on our students and staff so that we can continue to play our roles as a responsible partner to the higher education community? How will the landscape of the global higher education change? Please allow me to start with an anonymous quote that says the following: in times of uncertainty, it is important to remind ourselves to remain calm. We can't control what's around us, but we can control our responses. So given the unprecedented COVID-19 events, we know that tough times do call for tough measures. Like many other vice-chancellors around the world, the call for leadership is now. We need to brave the COVID-19 global pandemic in order to move forward. On March 18th, 2020, the government of Malaysia declared a lockdown as the World Health Organization declared the spread of coronavirus as a global pandemic. Hence, all activities in the university came to a halt. Up to now, we have gone through 4 phases of the Movement Control Order, or the MCO. First phase was very tough for everyone, trying to adjust. Many feel bored, don't know what to do from home, especially because we have to work from home. However, after 45 days of the MCO, the government of Malaysia has lifted the MCO to a new phase called the conditional MCO. What it means is that as of 4th May, both the government and the private sectors were allowed to open their services, particularly the business sectors. Wise decision indeed by the government of Malaysia, as the cases of those infected by COVID-19 showed a downward trend and the flattening of the graph looked really promising. The background to this is that, as highlighted by the government, Malaysia is losing ringgit Malaysia 2.4 billion daily during the MCO, and the country loses about ringgit Malaysia 63 billion, which is about divided by 4 or 5, I think, to convert into USD. Even though the MCO has been lifted and turned into conditional MCO, we were constantly reminded of the new normal, where we have to get used to the daily practices of personal hygiene, social distancing at work, and to only go out for essential tasks. Otherwise, it is best to stay at home. So how do we manage the university in times of crisis, such as a global pandemic called the COVID-19? How do we build resilience in these trying times? What choice do we have? How flexible are we, and how soon and where can we adapt to the new situations? Ladies and gentlemen, under the backdrop of COVID-19, University Teknologi did not stop the clock. We worked tirelessly around the clock to ensure the essential services of the university is up and running. Salaries must be paid according to schedule. Payments to vendors and services rendered. Students' welfare on campus and off campus, and academic concerns raised. These are just a few of the many duties and responsibilities undertaken by the university management team. As the event unfolds, many of our staff became frontliners overnight, especially those in our hospital, faculty of medicine, as well as our health clinic. Answering to the call for duty to serve Malaysia, they devoted themselves to save lives and offer comfort to all. Many initiatives have been ongoing currently, starting from the setup of the main crisis center at the university level, launching of a special fund for COVID-19, for various projects like face shields, personal protection equipment, and also hand sanitizers. Let me give you some numbers. These are done by our staff and students, working tirelessly to provide this equipment for the frontliners. To date, we have distributed 55,000 face shields to 329 hospitals and clinics nationwide, 9,500 hand sanitizers to 19 hospitals and organizations, and also 15,000 fabric personal protection equipment to about 25 hospitals. And also there's some other innovations which have come up, which our staff have come up during this time, like robots, delivery robots, indoor virus prevention robot, face recognition, temperature measurement device, and intubation box. UiTM has been working very closely with the government of Malaysia, specifically with the Ministry of Higher Education in distributing a one-off funding for students from the Malaysian government. We manage the well-being of students on campus. Just before the lockdown, a majority of our students managed to leave for home. And that leaves out of the 165,000 full-time students. Of that, 10,000 are left on campus for one reason or another. So we manage their well-being by providing 3 meals a day for all the students throughout the MCO, and also take care of their welfare and their health and so on. We created standard operating procedures for campus security measures. And we generated a total of about 17 internal circulars for communication and updates to all students and staff. You see, every now and then, it's almost like daily, there are briefings by the government, by the Prime Minister, by the senior ministers on the COVID-19 and on the MCO. And so we have to respond to these announcements made, and that's why we have to issue from time to time circulars to inform our staff and students what action to take and what to do and what not to do. The Office of International Affairs came up with 13 initiatives for our international students, from providing 3 meals a day and facilitating their movements, especially for those returning to their home countries during the MCO. Among all the initiatives, the academic well-being of the students became our top priority. Overnight, UiTM switched to online and digital tools, hence embarking on online distance learning. We cannot embark on a fully online teaching and learning because there are some of our students who are not connected, do not have strong connectivity to the internet. So we have to embark on open and distance learning approach. From 18th March, upon announcement of the MCO, UiTM took a bold step to insist that teaching and learning must go on. Work from home, or WHF, as we call it, became the new norm for all students and academics. So how do we manage the academic needs during COVID-19? Several initiatives were created in the form of funding and subsidy for internet packages, postage, and training of academics on delivering learning online. Despite the challenges, we were optimistic that students and staff will cooperate and get through this together. Surveys upon surveys were conducted to ensure that all aspects of the academic needs were met. Today, we are happy to report that throughout the whole system, we've got 35 campuses throughout the country. almost 95% of participation was achieved for the ODL. Ladies and gentlemen, in January this year, we launched the UiTM or Universiti Al-Jamara 2025 Strategic Plan, where we aspire to become a globally renowned university by 2025 in science, technology, humanities, and entrepreneurship. Aligning ourselves to three main thrusts: quality education, global excellence, and value-driven performance. We were all set to kick off the strategic plan. However, the COVID-19 came unexpectedly. Therefore, many events have to be postponed, conferences cancelled, and faculty members have not been allowed for entirely. In addition, many of the key performance indicators were affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. For example, 62% of the planned activities, which include several international partners, were affected. On the international front, there were immediate implications and inconveniences. Several key performance indicators or events, like the Mega University Presidents Roundtable Forum 2020, which were to be organized, we will organize this year, the formation of an international advisory panel, the One Student, One Passport mobility project, staff mobility, and the international volunteering program through Service Learning Malaysia were all rescheduled to a later date. On a final note, I would like to close this talk of my presentation with how leaders mitigate a crisis like COVID-19. Obviously, we need to know how to go about managing the risk due to the unprecedented event like COVID-19. Universiti Al-Jamara's mitigation plan relies on 4 aspects. That are networking, financial sustainability, university operations and ICT, and the information and infrastructure and digital technology. In conclusion, I believe that even in these uncertain times, all universities can continuously strive to deliver high-quality teaching. We need to listen to the students' needs and concerns by leveraging on the latest technological tools. In the meantime, we all have to consistently adapt to this new normal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia, Professor Emeritus Datuk, on the very clear insights on what leadership entails in the midst of a crisis like COVID-19. So we'll be hearing more from you in our session 2 later. So we shall move on to our next panelist, Dr. Cheng Wu from Shanghai Normal University in China. Dr. Charlie, a professor of applied linguistics and currently the Director for International Affairs, Office of Shanghai Normal University in China. For your information, Shanghai Normal University is one of our partners for a consortium called Better Futures. So Dr. Charlie will share his views on how the COVID-19 impacted Shanghai Normal University and, of course, international education in China. So with that, please welcome Dr. Cheng Wu from Shanghai Normal University.
You know, if there is anything good to come out of this, COVID-19 is really showing us, what a global community we really are. We're all in this boat together, and so it's very important that we share our experiences and learn from one another. Excuse me. So I'll tell you a little bit about my institution. Miami University, we're a public state-funded institution in the state of Ohio, in the Midwest United States. Our main campus is located in the city of Oxford, which is about an hour northwest of the city of Cincinnati. So we really are in a rural location. We have total students on our main campus in Oxford, but also on 2 regional campuses. One in
also encouraging lecturers, the academic faculty members to be more flexible in setting assessment for students, deadline, exam, not asking students to make assignment because the student also may have problem with the internet connection and other media for online learning. We also ensuring strong communication with international students, especially with the remaining Indian students at the university. Now we have about 35 to 40 students staying at the university. So we managed to comfort them, to make them comfortable staying overseas during this COVID pandemic outbreak. So we have like regular online teleconference with them. We invite the psychologists, and then we help them how to stay calm during this pandemic period. And following the government regulation, also the University of Management also shift some budgets for COVID-19. So first of all, we provide some funding for students for internet connection budget, also for food supply. And the last one, we also, although during this pandemic outbreak, we don't forget the importance of managing and maintaining a strong relationship with our strategic partners overseas, especially. So we circulate emails to our partners that despite this outbreak, we managed to be alert and vigilant and maintaining the collaboration and research engagement with our strategic partners, including UiTM in Malaysia. I think that's our challenges and also management for students. Thank you very much, Dr. Zainab.
Thank you, Dr. Bukhori. Unfortunately, Dr. Zainab has already been kicked out from the Zoom, and she can't join us back. So I'm just going to do the moderating session now. So okay, we have heard from Dr. Ahmad Bukhori, and shall we proceed to the next session now?
Hello. Yeah, I'm finally back. Yeah, in time for session 2. All right. Okay, let me try one more thing, and if I can. All right. All right. As long as everyone can hear me, I think I will proceed even without the video. I hope everybody can hear me. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. My apologies, but I guess I was alone at Google Meet, and then I was in Zoom, and then I got kicked out, and then I came back in. Right, never mind. So thank you to all the presenters earlier for sharing their views on the challenges of COVID-19 on international education, especially in looking at the current state of the affairs and the respective part of the world. So from all the views and perspectives shared by all the panelists in the first session, we hope we are ready now to move to the future outlook of the new internationalization. What are our next steps in responding to an uncertain future in international education? So to kick off the session, this round, very quickly, I would like to once again invite Yang Berbahagia, Emeritus Professor Karla.
Thank you, Dr. Zainab. I hope everyone can hear me. So given the current state of the COVID-19, when we go from here, are we going to wait for things to happen or let nature take its course? Are there lessons learned from the COVID-19 for the global higher education community? So let me put a recent QS report on the impact of the coronavirus on global education. Students across the higher education sector worldwide have been affected by the spread of coronavirus, from travel restrictions to social distancing, isolation measures, quarantines, campus closures, and border closures. And then there's some quotes from the report from the students. For example, I don't know when the borders are going to open again. All institutions are closed and travel is banned. Admissions are affected, and my current degree is also put on hold. The coronavirus is spreading too fast in nearby countries. My parents are scared to send me abroad. So you can see from all these quotes, we can see that prospective students do have many fears and concerns. Therefore, universities have to address all these concerns, especially about the issue of being flexible with application deadlines and funding and so on. We should also be aware of the biggest challenge facing us now. How do we manage the upcoming semester online enrollment for internet students, mobility, and staff exchange programs? Even as I speak, we're now discussing with my colleagues how to bring back the students, when the lockdown is stopped. So bringing them back, because the government is issued a directive, no face-to-face, until the end of the year, no big gatherings, no classes. So we're trying to find ways and means how to bring students, especially those who are graduating this semester, back to do their final year projects, to do their lab classes and so on. So this is some of studio and so on. So this is something that we are currently discussing, and also we're discussing how to bring back the staff, the academics, both academic and the administrative staff coming back to campus. So we're now about to issue some guidelines how to move forward on this. So to move forward, we need to come up with several measures to address as far as teaching and learning is concerned. We do see that all universities have to migrate to online learning, at least for the next 6 months, because of the uncertain future as to face-to-face classes. When we have students back when can we have students back physically on campus? For us, we're targeting June, early June. But again, we have to wait for the announcement from the government. If June is not possible, probably July. So if that were to happen in the immediate future, what will be the new normal then? Definitely the new normal requires a new set of acquired behavior, like social distancing in the classroom, where no more than 10 students can be together at any given time, and bring us closer to home with blended learning. When students can come back to campus, university should be ready with all the digital tools and support for online learning to happen. By this time, all institutions should be able to switch staff and implement with a wide array of open and distant learning approaches. On students' recruitment, we are fully aware that many universities rely on international students for revenue to their universities. However, looking at the current situation, revenues may be reduced in the next academic year to travel restrictions and closed borders. In the recent QS survey, 50% of respondents believe that the coronavirus would have a detrimental impact on the number of student applications they receive at their institution. So if this is a scenario, we then need to address these shifts in student recruitment. Maybe getting more good Malaysian students to study UiTM, as they are not able to pursue their studies overseas in the immediate future. That is one of the things that we're considering. At the same time, we need to strengthen our e-learning capabilities so that we can offer online programs to international students. So this is one area that we're looking at. On this account, we need to work closely with the Malaysian Qualifications Agency in terms of providing us with more flexibility in offering online degree programs, as Malaysia is known for its high quality and affordable English medium degree programs. The shift in international students recruitment have to happen, as we cannot rely on international students coming from one country, as particular China. Therefore, markets must be more diversified to include countries like Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Thailand, Turkey, UAE, India, and Vietnam as new territories. Today, more and more recruitment agencies are actually migrating from the traditional admission fairs to digital events and digital marketing. We are forced to meet virtually and communicate through digital means. And in times of crisis, how do we go about shifting our priorities? The fact of the matter is that all staff and student movements have been impacted by the spread of the coronavirus. Therefore, we need to shift how we operate today, as we have to adapt to the new higher education landscape. For us at UiTM, it is vital that we keep connected to our partners. We strategize for future collaborations. Currently, nominations of students for exchange programs among partners are ongoing, with increased possibilities for online mobility. Virtual meetings among partner universities have to be given the utmost priority right now. There will be more consistent and clear communication among partners in the near future. In conclusion, I'd like to suggest that we start thinking of possibilities of virtual international summer programs. As an example, university partners can engage to discuss general and specific virtual summer programs. Some possible examples I can give now is, for example, a general program, virtual global leadership summer program. That's one example. on language, music, culture, and arts. Examples of virtual language and culture summer program, English as a second language online series, third, virtual culture and cuisine immersion summer program, fourth, virtual cross-cultural exchange summer program, and a fifth example is virtual cross-cultural communication. And on technology, proposing something like a virtual renewable energy summer program, and on business management and economics, a virtual global entrepreneurship summer program. So with those suggestions, I'm sure we are able to move forward in the internationalization activities in years to come. Remain strategic in our focus to become a globally renowned university by 2025. My last quote is from Bill Gates, who says that as new innovations emerge, things will continue to change. In some ways, you can create something that's actually more efficient and better than what was there before. Thank you very much for now.
I mean it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. VC. Can we move on to Charlie with the topic of the new global classroom? Thank you, Datuk. That was a very insightful thoughts from your side on from UiTM. And let's now listen to Charlie from Shanghai Normal University. Over to you, Charlie.
Okay, thank you, Husna. Thank you, Professor Azraai. It's really nice to see you again here on this new approach. Actually, we missed our plan, the Better Futures Consortium meeting this year. Yes. But clearly, this is a very good beginning that we will be seeing here on this new platform. Okay, picking up the topic, actually the future. If you're looking to the future, actually, in spite of all the disasters that the pandemic has caused to all nations and all people around the world, the pandemic also creates and presents new opportunities for changing and upgrading the traditional higher education structure and mode to make the structure more effective and efficient. We can actually learn a lot from the pandemic to enrich, to start with, the current model of education delivery. By looking at and studying the current situation, we might think about how to enhance and improve the teaching and the learning experience. We have to be agile to adapt to the new learning environment, which technology opening up many new areas of cooperation and collaboration. Actually, at one level, all stakeholders, first of all, and researchers, professors, students, and parents, and the communities all need to come together to embrace the coming the coming change. Actually, this is the experience that we have learned from the past 4 months within Shanghai, within the Shanghai Normal community, Shanghai Normal University community. And we feel that the parents are supportive, our students are supportive, the staff, the professors, and everybody is so supportive of the staff, of the campus change and the campus social distancing measures. And then we must make sure we deepen our communication and the contact amongst all the stakeholders to keep us informed of what's going on here. So that's why nearly every day I will release a note to all the community, the campus community, and also the community around the university as to what we are going to, what we are doing and how we are going to serve, developing and educating our students. At another level, as internationalization is a key feature of modern higher education as institutions, and the benefits and accomplishments achieved, by internationalizing need not to be mentioned here. We may treat the pandemic as a big driver for HE institutions to come closer together, to share, to learn from, to benefit from, to upgrade, and to develop each other for the benefit of our students, academia, and humanity as a whole, like President Xi Jinping, China's President Xi Jinping will say. So over the many years, close higher education international collaboration has not only proved to be possible, but monumentally beneficial. Bilateral and multilateral cooperation cross-border or within border has enabled our development into what we are actually. Shanghai Normal University, we are very young, just 60 plus years old. Actually, the whole higher education sector in China is very young. So with internationalization, these universities, the Chinese universities have developed so fast that we can now gradually come in multilateral cooperation cross-border or within border has enabled our development into what we are actually. We are very young, just 60 plus years old. Actually, the whole side of pandemic have built flexibility and adaptability in a higher education sector. Hybrid use of technology in classrooms, covering nearly all academic disciplines. Another view appears in countries where people will retreat into their own communities, rendering, virtually rendering global citizens really obsolete, depriving, in a way, people of better opportunities for developing different perspectives, creativity, and multicultural experiences. So the new normal, as we could envisage at the very present, as Dr. Azraai Professor Azraai was saying just now already, as the pandemic pertains and the vaccines are developed, basically boils down to a situation where universities like us will have to refine the traditional model of education, continue to cover and support effective partnerships and programs. Not support, but strengthen such partnerships and programs. And of course, lifelong learning, global mindsets, and relevant degrees. The global community must not let the pandemic hold back international education. The authorities, our authorities must also adequately manage any restrictions on student entry and mobility. Technology and online learning must be adequately addressed in terms of research and the development of digital platforms, online pedagogy, learning and teaching quality assessment tools, and of course, thus sufficient funding for all these. The technology will not be merely a critical role in educational delivery and management. So it's important that institutions keep communication channels open and consistent, and strengthening it as international students in academia remain interested in international education once the crisis is abated, I would presume. So here in Shanghai Normal University, actually the whole of China, we are opening our campuses actually starting from this week, actually. So students are coming in on campuses. Also, we have to observe, a certain degree of social distancing protocols, and also, dormitory rearrangements and campus activities rearrangements, etc., etc. And based on all the issues and the new challenges that we have experienced in the past three or 4 months of fighting the pandemic, Shanghai Normal University has decided to establish this is new, only last week, a International Student Development Center. Actually, this is a new initiative under the International Affairs Office, under my office, overseeing international students' digital and on-campus classroom platforms, a hybrid recruitment platform, international students' welfare, and addressing the current and the long-term needs of our students. Graduate employability, assessment of teaching, the learning quality, research in this area, in the above areas as well, and very importantly, appropriate funding for the center. So this is a very, very new initiative that our university is taking on, and I am now starting looking for recruiting new people for the center, and also certain professionals for delivery, teaching, and learning under the center. So to ensure effective classroom effectiveness, actually we are setting up the following, basically, the day before yesterday, we were having a meeting. We come up with these initial guidelines to follow. For example, devising and developing digital teaching and learning systems that will suit cross-border teaching delivery. Second, adaptive learning. That means we have to address the needs of different types of students. Students from North America, students from Europe, students from Southeast Asia, from Middle Asia, etc., etc. And then strengthening communication with partner institutions. I think Dr. Zainab has opened up a very, very interesting and started this channel of communication. And this is a good way of communication. And the first time after the coronavirus with UiTM and with other institutions, actually we realized that such a strengthening communication with our partner universities is crucially important at this stage of development. And then invitational, we have to create an invitational environment. So whereby we can accommodate our partner universities' needs, our international students' needs, and also the needs of our staff members and faculty to deliver their teaching, and then establish rules and procedures and practicals. So we have all these ideas and all the problems over the past 3 months in managing classrooms, in persuading our students to observe the practicals, the guidelines, etc., etc. We have to refine all these rules and the procedures and practicals. And then, of course, very importantly, there will be mutual respect amongst all the partner universities, amongst all the online course or meeting or forum participants, etc., etc. And also we talked about learner training, so that we have to train our learners to be responsible for their own learning in the new environment, online or on-site classrooms, and etc., etc. For example, I read some of my students' feedback, and they feel that they are, after 3 months, they are gradually adapting themselves. They gradually get accustomed to what's happening, what's happening in our teaching, and also this new mode. And of course, collaborative learning. We are also creating online learning groups, and where the students can share international and national and local students to share their learning experiences and share their own cultures, display their own food and then their own cultural activities from different parts of the world. And of course, here we have really noticed that technology plays a big role, and it is now virtually a key role to address all these all the about issues. So this is what we are doing at the moment, but we are still at the very initial stage of recruiting people to create such a international student center, where the center will grow to look after the various aspects of our international students. Okay, just to save time, that's all I want to talk about. But although I have not gone into very much detail, but I think I will leave some time for our for the remaining our panel speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Professor Azraai. Dr. Zainab.
Zainab. Oh, who's now?
Is she there?
Dr. Zainab.
Yeah. Okay, who's that?
I think Karla, you can go on.
All right, yeah.
Okay,
I'll go ahead
we'll move over to Karla now.
Yes,
Karla.
yes, we'll go ahead. keep things moving.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. That was really fascinating. I'd love to hear more about the International Student Development Center. That sounds like a fantastic development. You know, and you mentioned that, you know, you're a very young institution, and sort of on the flip side of that, we're a very old institution. So Miami University was founded in 1809, so we have about 200 years of history. And you know, sometimes when you have that length of history, you know, being creative and flexible and adaptable can be challenging. And so I think that's one of the challenges that we face is, you know, maintaining our traditions and our history, but then also, you know, learning to be flexible and adapt to what the current environment is. And so as I'm thinking what the future of internationalization is going to be at Miami University, you know, I sort of broke it down into what do we know and what don't we know. You know, so right now, you know, we don't know what travel is going to look like. You know, in the coming months or in the coming year even. You know, we don't know what our budgets are going to look like. There's still a lot of uncertainties in terms of you know, what the financial impact is going to be on the institution, you know, from enrollment and from state allocations and that type of thing. And another thing that I think we need to be thinking about are you know, what is the impact going to be on the perceptions of liability and risk? You know, on a number of different levels. So, you know, on a government level, in terms of immigration, you know, how are governments going to look at the flow of individuals across borders, and how might that impact what we do? You know, in terms of our institutions, you know, how much, you know, is this going to change how much liability and risk we're willing to take on when we send our students abroad or send our faculty abroad and that type of thing. But also students and parents. You know, we, you know, in the state of Ohio, you know, we have students who, you know, can't even imagine leaving the country and going abroad. So how will a situation like this really change, you know, the perceptions of those students about considering, you know, undertaking an international experience, and for their parents as well. You know, so those are some of the things that we don't really know how those are going to play out quite yet. You know, what we do know is that we want our students to continue building cross-cultural competencies, whether they're traveling or not. You know, we want our students, regardless of their ability to physically travel, to be able to encounter new and different perspectives in their coursework. We want our faculty to continue building relationships and expanding their own relationships with partners abroad. And as an institution as well, we want to make sure that we're maintaining the strength of our existing partnerships and building new partnerships that we can really collaborate on moving forward. So one specific thing that we're looking at in February, before our stay-at-home order was put into place, I was able to attend a workshop at Florida International University on COIL, which is Collaborative Online International Learning. And that's really becoming big here in the United States in terms of, you know, how do we incorporate, you know, global experiences into our existing coursework? You know, so this is something, you know, that I think we would have been moving towards anyway, but I think the current situation is really speeding up, you know, the time frame in terms of how we want to get things implemented. You know, and so one of the areas I think that we can look at, you know, we have a general education plan that we call the Global Miami Plan. Within that, we have global perspectives requirements that students are required to fulfill, which they can do by studying abroad, but also do by classes on campus. You know, and so seeing how that we can incorporate the COIL strategies into this coursework so that all Miami students are still getting that exposure to the intercultural learning piece through their general education is something that I think will be important for us. And also ensuring that our international office is providing support to faculty who want to engage in this, either in terms of helping them identify partners, helping them get the training on the technology that they might need, in helping support students through the courses and through the experiences. We have had a few faculty who have done this very successfully. Dr. Elena Albaran is a history professor on our Oxford campus who teaches Mexican history. And so she's been partnering with an institution in Mexico City where her students are able to, throughout the course of the semester, work directly with Mexican students on that project. Another example, Marcia Robinson, a faculty member on one of our regional campuses, has partnered with the Department of Southeast Asian Studies at University of Malaya to do a similar type project where students are working directly together on projects as they're moving through their courses. And I wonder too, one of the pieces of feedback that we get both from study abroad students as well as international students on our campus is the challenge of really developing personal relationships in that international experience. American students will go abroad. Often they're going to stay together because that's what's comfortable. So they're really missing out on developing those relationships with locals on the ground. And similarly with international students on our campus, we often hear from them how challenging it can be to really engage deeply with US students, develop friendships and that type of thing. And perhaps with the COIL model, with the virtual model where students are paired and they're really having to work on those projects together, some of that may be overcome. So that could be a definite benefit to going that route. Another thing that we've been thinking about as well, we're very focused on study abroad at Miami University. We send up to about 50% of our students will study abroad before they graduate. Is what will a virtual study abroad, what would a virtual study abroad experience look like? Can we design, a 3 to 4 week program, where students could really get the feel of another culture in another place? So that's something that we're thinking about very carefully. The other piece is really the practical experience. Our students have been very interested in pursuing internships abroad to gain some practical experience and professional experience in an international context. So how can we continue providing those experiences, also for our students who want to, our US students, but also for our students who want to come to our campus. We were hoping to launch this summer a new program with our College of Engineering, that would bring students in for a summer practicum internship at one of our labs, where they would earn micro credentials. So they're not coming in to earn a degree, but they're earning certificates on certain specific skill sets. And so that's obviously had to be postponed, but that's something that we hope that we're going to pick up again. And so thinking in terms of, can we offer those, virtual practical experiences, those micro-credential opportunities in a virtual sense. And I think too, just thinking in towards of enrollment, we're going to need to, diversification was mentioned, and I think too that's, something we need to look at as well. In terms, particularly with our students from China, we're hoping they can get back with us in the fall and that we can recruit new students, but, will that be as possible as it has been in the past? So thinking in terms of, how can we reach out to those students, still provide degree options online, looking at the micro-credential model, which is something that I think has a lot of potential and may be appealing to students who may not want to go abroad for an entire degree, but they're looking to gain a particular skill set that we have a specialization at our institution. So really just trying to be flexible and creative in those areas. So those are a few of the areas that we're looking at right now. So I'll transition over to you, Dr. Bukhori.
Thank you, Karla. May I start?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Zainab, are you there?
I'm sharing my slide. Can you see the slide?
Yeah, it's appearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you again,
Okay.
respected panelists. So the topic assigned to me by Dr. Ilaya is alternative students mobility, but I think my topic has been fed by some the other panelists. I'm just focusing on what our university at the university level is offering during this pandemic. So yes, I put this as a blended virtual physical mobility because we don't really we are planning not to really shift to virtual at all because we find some limitation with virtual. We will see if this COVID outbreak increases, getting better in the next few months. So we'll start with physical mobility, with virtual mobility in the beginning, but then in the middle of the semester when everything improves, we may go to physical mobility. That's just our temporary planning. So let me start by having more flexible international admission. So we have different policy with the local and international students admission. So when with international student, we have only one-time admission, which is in the beginning of the semester, which is usually in the fall or in September semester. But with international students, we have more flexible admission, so we accept the admission the whole year. So every month we can have per LOA. That is for regular program. And also with this program, we also have possible admission deferral. So if students are admitted this semester, but they intend to postpone to next year because of the COVID break, so we also accept this kind of deferral appointment. So the first program that we are going to have a blended one is the credit transfer or sandwich or double degree program. So as the case with UiTM, we have AIMS under AIMS scheme. So we are offering at the Universitas, we are offering this online virtual credit transfer, whether it's under AIMS or other non-AIM out of AIM, because with UiTM, we have some other scheme yang berbahaya Datuk. We have students under AIM and also non-AIM. We have students under AIM under the tourism faculty. Also, we have from non-AIM from faculty of mass communication from UiTM. And this program has been running for many years, so we hope that this COVID-19 outbreak does not disturb the sustainability of the credit transfer virtual. And the second one we can offer is virtual student symposium or seminar. So this is again, I think students of UiTM has been a very loyal participant for this program. We have been running this for almost 2 years. I remember last 2 years, for example, about 20 or 30 students from UiTM from Faculty of Mass Communication coming to our university. I remember it's also in Ramadan 2 years ago. So they have a student symposium, yes, but again, this is going to be a blended individual and so students' mobility. And the last one is, most panelists have mentioned, we have also annual summer program. It's a general cultural summer program and also subject specific. So far, the participant, we invite participants from our study partner university, including UiTM. I think UiTM also again always sends students to our summer program every year. With this issue of blended virtual physical mobility, I think it's very possible that we extend the participation from a university, including Miami University and also Shanghai Normal University, because it's to become more accessible. So Dr. Charlie and also Karla, you should are welcome. We will be sending invitation to you students to join this virtual summer program. All this program, we want to provide students with as much authenticity as possible, and because of this, so we're focusing on project-based learning. So this program, whether it's credit transfer, so the learning will be based on project, and also the summer program, also students symposium and seminar. So we'll be focusing by looking at the need of the students and what is their interest, and then providing them with 21st century skills of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, and all these steps of doing project-based learning will be the basis for conducting our alternative students' mobility. We understand that, of course, virtual is not as authentic as physical. We understand that this virtual mobility program may have some limitation. For example, it shows lack of social experiences. I understand that what makes you interested in joining Student mobility is because they can explore the culture, they can travel overseas. So we understand this lack of experiences, and also the minimum exposure to conduct immersions, and also it may have problem with different times, and especially with maybe Miami University from University Karla. So this is also the limitation that we need to manage if we have participants from the universities from the other side of the world. And also, of course, it's high requirement for computer skill, but I believe that students now most of them are millennial, who are digital native, who are more flexible to computer and technology. And another challenge maybe for our instructors in doing this whole mobility program is the classroom management and assessment. Because the online need like specific specific understanding and also specific skill of doing class management and assessment. And another issue may be technical issues related to internet connections, bandwidth, for example, in our case, for example, not all students, especially those who are living in remote areas that don't have good connection to internet. So this also may be our concern when we are doing our blended virtual mobility. And the last one, as we discussed, I think yesterday in the AIMS meeting with Dr. Zainab and other AIMS participants, in our case in Indonesia, we have still a discussion about the legal acceptance of online learning as credit point. The good news is that now we have good news from our new Ministry of National Education, who is very young and talented. He has issued a new initiative called Merdeka Belajar, or autonomy learning. One of the point is that when the bachelor degree program, for example, running for 4 years or 8 semesters, the students are only required to attend the local university, their own university, for 5 semesters or 2.5 years, and then the remaining 3 semesters are encouraged to go to other universities, including overseas universities. And the program can be physical, can be regular, and also can be online or virtual. So I think this is good news. So we hope that this will give emphasis on the acceptance of our program legally, so that the students can accept the credit point based on this online learning. I hope this will not become a problem for your university. I think that's my point with the alternative of virtual, blended virtual and physical mobility. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bukhori. Okay. We are all now looking into virtual learning, virtual everything, virtual meeting in virtual mode. We look forward to have virtual mobility in the future among us universities. Hopefully that would happen. In fact, now we are doing it as well. All right. So if I may open the floor to the participants who have questions to ask our panelists, you can just unmute your mic and say out your name and your question and to whom you want to address your question. Anyone? Okay, if there's no question, I have a question here from Dr. Kariman, Majlis Syarikat IPTA Holdings. The question is, of course, there will be a teething period where we are on a new normal era, present and the future, especially UiTM with 36 campus and 120K populations. Are we world standard, and how do we pave the way? I guess this question goes out to our Datuk VC.
Thank you very much. Well, it's still correct. It's not 120,000, it's 100 and full-time 165,000 students. Yep. And there's an additional 15,000 students on off-campus or part-time program. So, there are a lot of things that we are discussing, developing, and we're working closely with the Ministry of Higher Education, as well as the accreditation bodies like Malaysian Qualifications Agency, professional bodies, in ensuring that during this COVID-19 period, where we move towards online and some open and distance learning and so on. We maintain the standards as like in face-to-face and so on. So of course, there are many things that we are working, as we go. We're discussing and developing and coming with guidelines, what to do and so on. So I think the desire or the aim is to actually make sure that standards are fulfilled, or despite putting a lot of flexibility into the whole learning and using technology and so on. So there are new things that we are doing from time to time. I think and there's a lot of learning happening here, and there's a lot of uncertainties as well. But that's something that we won't compromise. Quality is something that we won't compromise. Standards is something that we won't compromise, and we will try to uphold the standards as best as we can. And that's why, for example, we have our semester. We have extended, stretch it to 22 weeks rather than 14 or 15 weeks semester, just to allow this to happen, especially to students who are out in their homes throughout the country, especially those losing out on the ODL, open and distance learning opportunity. We want to bring them, and we want to make sure that they are also participating in the whole teaching and learning exercise and so on. So, or they're not left behind. So that's something that we try our best to ensure, and we will try to bring later part of the year people, or later part of the semester, people who have not had this opportunity to come back and probably focus on their learning and helping them to keep up and cope up with the learning that they miss and so on. So we are doing so many things actually to make sure teaching and learning happens, and everybody is participating, and everybody is not losing out in this period. So that's what I can say at this stage.
All right, thank you, Datuk. I have a second question from Maziatul. Is there prejudice and discrimination due to COVID-19 pandemic present towards China University that may affect the internationalization and recruitment? If yes, how would it be dealt and fixed? I guess this question goes out to Charlie. Is there any discrimination?
Okay, now actually this pandemic really caused a lot of differences and views, and even sometimes conflicts of ideas arise. And even now there are to the international community there are all these ideas about where the virus originates. Is it in Wuhan? Whether it should be called the Wuhan virus or China virus. And while the Chinese government is really answering back, and as to there are all these problems, of course. But to Shanghai Normal University, I think to all Chinese universities, I think this will not pose as a problem. This will not pose as a problem, especially for people who have had the experience of suffering from this pandemic. And now, till now, we understand that this pandemic, does not have borders. It affects virtually everybody. It's a global threat to all human beings. So therefore, I think maybe at the very beginning there are such ideas, even in China. And okay, somebody from Wuhan, somebody from Hubei province. We might try to be careful about these people who are when we are interacting. But gradually, when we realize that no, this virus cannot be really contained within Wuhan, within Hubei province, within China, because now the internationalization, globalization, and actually in every corner of the world, there are flights and all the things. You cannot really say that this virus only belongs to or characteristic of somebody or a certain nation. So therefore, I think it's a global effort. And then now I think people have now gradually learned, if they have not wholly learned the lesson, but now I think people have learned the lesson that it's a global effort. So therefore, to everybody, should be treated as equal as applicants or recruitments, and at least now in China and on my campus, there is virtually no such a thing of discrimination in terms of enrollment or granting of scholarships and all the other evaluation processes and the selection processes. So no, I think the things will be getting much better, all over the world soon. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Charlie. That was a great opinion. And I have another question from the chat box next to the Zoom. Is it possible to have condition MCO toward based on field of study? For example, research lab is possible to be allowed for on-site research, while language study or computer science may continue virtually online. Anybody want to take this question? Is it possible to have a condition, MCO, movement control order, towards the base of field of study in terms of research lab, and while the language study or computer science or other management subject can go through virtual? What about the lab?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I respond our experience from our university. Yes, so that's also the question, the concern at our university, whether because like the science program with the research lab, it's like hard to be online. So, at our university, the policy depends on whether it's still possible to have secondary data for study or for research, for research students. If it is not possible, the university allows for, it's a special case allowing the research to be on the side, but with very strict COVID-19 protocol, physical distancing, and so there should be like no gathering, no crowd. There should be a roster whether when someone can get into the lab and when someone. So they need to avoid contact. But that's the case when it's really indispensable. But again, when the condition is not permissible, when it's the red zone area for the COVID-19, for example, that's also still a concern of our university, whether it's in all mode or case of or measured on. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pak Bukhori. Okay, if there's no more question, I would like to wrap up the session.
No, I have one question for Karla.
Sure.
No, it's about the virtual evaluation. Convocations are big events in Malaysia, and we have at UiTM 2 convocation ceremonies involving a total of 50,000 students.
Yeah.
And so we're contemplating what to do. If we postpone it to next year, then it will be a total of 100,000 graduates to.
Right. Yeah, so the details of ours are still coming. Yeah, we're still getting all the details squared away, but we have contracted with it's kind of, I don't know if I would call it virtual reality, but it is a virtual environment where there will be rooms, and it will be broken up by our academic college areas. So students will be able to log on, actually enter the room. We have faculty and staff volunteers who are going to be in the room with them as well, providing support. So they're going to be able to hear the audio and get the recognition and hear from the president, as if they were there on campus. And it certainly will not be, as special as, you know, physically walking across that stage to be given your diploma, but we're hoping that it gives some closure to our graduating seniors, you know, because you know, we're just very concerned about the disappointment they might feel. This is their senior year, they're finishing their academic studies, you know, and it's just a very different world that they're graduating into. So this is brand new. We're trying this for the first time, so we'll see how it goes. But we hope it's appreciated by the students.
Thank you very much. We're discussing this. There's a proposal, similar proposal here, but we haven't actually worked out the details yet. But we're also planning to embark on this. You know, we call it like communication on demand or something like that. But it's going to be a virtual thing. So they come. And we're working closely with our faculty of film and theater on this now to work out this ceremony.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's really exciting. That's really exciting to do a virtual communication. And also another out of the way, you know, just one word with Professor Azraai. Maybe we would like to announce the 4 universities of the Better Futures Consortium. Now, clearly we are faced with the issue of restructuring and relook at what we have achieved. Actually, now coming to the pandemic situation, I still feel that our consortium then over the past 2 years have done really a lot in putting students together, you know, like the summer programs and international volunteer programs in Malaysia, in Shanghai, and in the African countries. So I'm not very sure, you know, how we are going to respond to the current situation. And I would like to discuss that with Dr. Zainab, maybe.
Discuss that with Dr. Zainab, but I'm all for it, you know, but probably, you know, we need to discuss and meet and decide the way forward.
Yeah. Okay, just a sort of an idea about that. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Azraai.
All right.
Thank you, Karla. Thank you, Bukhori.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. We have.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, this is Habiba Ash'ari, usually known as Deep, and I'm a retired professor from Faculty of Education in UiTM. I would just like to say that I would like to congratulate UiTM, especially Datuk, and also OIER for organizing this forum. And it shows us that this global pandemic actually has brought us closer together. And I think the way to go for higher education and also for internationalization is to continue to communicate with one another and to continue to collaborate. And this is one of the very vital initial ways that OIER and UiTM have done to initiate this collaboration. So we have talked about internationalization for so long, and we have signed MOUs and MOAs and letters of intent. So this pandemic has really championed internationalization on a virtual online platform. So I think this is also the new normal, intense collaboration between universities. And in fact, when Karla mentioned about the virtual convocation, Karla, good evening and good night. Hope you can settle down after this. And thank you, Datuk, for initiating this forum.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Habiba.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. There's a final question.
Back to UiA. Dr. Zainab,
there's a final question. I'll just post out the question here. Could online learning ultimately solve multiple problems that are threatening higher education now, such as escalating student debt and tuition rates and dwindling access?
That question.
I'll take a stab at that one. You know, and I think, you know, when we're talking about online education, you know, a key benefit for me is really accessibility. You know, we want as many students as possible to be able to access higher education. You know, and looking at the financial models that may accompany that, I think would be a great idea. You know, it's, you know, so much of our experience at Miami University is focused on our residential experience, you know, but envisioning what a fully online education would look like, I think is something that's going to need to be considered for the future.
All right. Okay. All right. Any more questions? Okay, last one here I've got. Salam and hello everyone from Dr. Zaibunisa. Any prediction on how long this COVID-19 will affect our physical internationalization activities like student and staff mobility?
Salam.
That's the $1 million question right now.
Yes, that's $1 million.
The way I see it, until a vaccine is found and used widely in the world, I think this new normal will persist, you know, and we have to see, you know, face-to-face coming back in higher education. So one thing I think we foresee the use of technology in education for, you know, for quite some time. But what has happened is that COVID-19 has forced this, brought this forward, yeah, to all of us. I think that's a good thing about this, what this pandemic has brought us. You know. Everybody is embracing, like in UiTM, there's I think the millennials and the younger generation of lecturers have no problem. But it is the baby boomers, yeah, like me, who have difficulty. Yeah. In fact, when we decided to start open ODL, open distance learning in 13 April, which is still within MCO, there were protests from some of our lecturers, and when they protested to the highest level, you know, in government. They're asking the government, stop this Vice-Chancellor from opening ODL now during MCO. So I think it's more because of the inability or probably the fear of embracing technology. But what has happened is that when we continue to persist to start the ODL on the 13th of April, everybody has come on board and embrace it. And now we have and at this stage we do not restrict the use of the platform for ODL. You know, with the last count was like 14 or 15 platforms have been used. You know, from Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, all sorts have been used. Even WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube. You know, so we allow this at this stage as long as the lecturers are comfortable in using technology. But later on, probably we'll think the next semester we'll think about restricting to only a few platforms, because the challenge is not on the lecturer. The lecturer is using something which is compatible with them. But on the part of the students have to learn and master this 14 or 15 technology platforms. But being young people, they don't have problem actually. They quickly adapt. So this lecturer will use Zoom. There's another lecturer will use Google Meet. Another lecturer will use, some other platform and so on. So it's been a learning experience for all. But the good thing is that everybody is embracing technology in education, and this is something good for us. And moving forward, I think this is something good for higher education for us and also I suppose. Of course, nothing compares to face-to-face, nothing compares with face-to-face. But with technology, there's a lot of flexibility. And we found that one of the findings that we found that when in classes, actual face-to-face, students do not participate as much. But in online, it's almost like 100% participation. And of course, it's more work for the lecturers because they have to be online like long hours of the day because students come and have discussion and questions. But I think that's a good thing because they're participating in the meeting. So that's one good outcome that we saw happening during this COVID-19 period.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, further to Professor Azraai's comments there, very interesting. So besides the vaccines developed, I think, we will have to wait until nearly every country in the world have actively controlled the virus. China now really virtually have controlled, the virus itself, but we cannot do anything else unless all other partners and all other countries in the world, have done the same. So this is what we have realized, the lesson that we have learned. Thank you.
So it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, so it's
Okay, I guess we have reached to our conclusion for today. A lot of matters has been discussed in terms of the new normal in the university throughout the world, especially in China, US, Indonesia, and Malaysia. I would like to take the opportunity to thank our panelists for participating in our forum. We look forward to our next forum. And we apologize for the technical glitch we had earlier that we have to move into Zoom. Okay, we will do better next time. And I would like to also send Dr. Zainab's regards. She's here. You can see here. She's here on the Zoom, but I'm not sure with the technical difficulty as well. She cannot speak on the microphone. Right? So she sent her regards to everyone here and thank everyone for coming to this forum. We'd like to thank Indonesia, participants from Indonesia, from US, from China, and also from Indonesia. And thank you very much. I hope you all will fill in the feedback form and also the attendance form that we have on the chat box on the side of the panel of the Zoom and also Google Meet. Right? So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Hidayat. Right. Thank you, Dr. Charlie. Thank you, Karla. Thank you, yang berbahagia, Datuk Vice-Chancellor.
Thank you.
We will catch up later on.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Karla.
Thank you, Dr. Hidayat. Thank you, everyone.